So today I'm doing a shoot with the FX2, which is a cinema line camera. However, it's a hybrid. So I'm gonna see how it compares to the A7 IV and the A7C2. I'm doing a shoot with model Fae and we're gonna see how it goes. Today I'm using the 28-75 Tamron 2.8. So we're gonna see how this package squares up. So today I'm trying something I haven't tried before, using a slow shutter speed to create a wavy light streak kind of image. Luckily, Faye was very patient with me as I was experimenting. So for the lighting setup, I used a strip box on one side with an FS300C and an octabox on the other side with a CB300C. Both lights are gridded to keep the light off the background and kind of focusing it on where she's moving to create them light streaks. First of all, I tried it with another 300 watt light to kind of capture the first initial image, and I found out quite quickly, don't do that. So I switched to a 600 watt strobe with a beauty dish on it. So the beauty dish with the grid is focusing that light on her face for the main position, and then the two lights to the side are catching the light for the light streaks in the image. So I flopped the first 3 attempts, and then we started to get something very usable. I had to turn up the continuous light to 100% and have the flash on 100% as well to really freeze that image in the middle. Here were the camera settings that I worked out worked perfectly. This was a 1-second exposure on ISO 125 and the aperture was at f22 on the 75mm side of the lens, so everything was a bit more compressed. So for this, you need to make sure that you put your camera on a tripod because you don't want it moving whilst the exposure is happening. I was really chuffed with how the images started to turn out. In the editing process, I just had to push the contrast a bit and I slightly tweaked the white balance as well. And then once I was happy with those, we moved over just to some general shots on the red backdrop using the same lighting setup with one on either side with the grids. And here's how these turned out. This is part of the reason I really like using continuous lights in photography, because I like the RGB colors of the newer FS300C and CB300C. And I just switch up the lighting setup one more time by turning the light on the right to a more neutral daylight balance while keeping the other side a red orangey tone. So again, the FX2 turns out to be a great studio photography camera, even though it's on the cinema line. Everything in the studio you see in this video is included in the studio hire, from the lights to the backdrop and the tripod, so you can have a go at this yourself. And the FX2 and Tamron 28-75 2.8 is also available for rental in the studio as well. I look forward to seeing you guys soon. This is part 2 of the shoot and part 3 is coming soon for some more very experimental lighting setups.